Hello everybody and welcome to episode 44 of my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play series. Today we are back on our Char Thief and we are going to continue doing some map exploration in the Fields of Ruins, and we might continue further into the rest of Ascalon as well. And we are on our Char Thief, who is a member of the Order of Whispers. So kind of my goal for this episode is to get to at least level 40. We'll probably end up a little bit higher than level 40. So next episode we can begin looking at the Order of Whispers storyline in that chapter of the personal story. But really quickly, before we go to the Fields of Ruins, I want to come into the gem store really quickly because there is a free item being offered for Pride Month in the promotions tab here, and I can go ahead and find it right here. A Macaw Wings glider combo. It's like a rainbow like parrot glider and backpack combo set that we can get right here, and gliders are something that we will unlock in the future, and we just have that there. And then we can equip this backpack strap, and I actually want the one we had equipped, and then we can go ahead and apply this for free of charge, and now we just have this on our Char Thief, which is a little out of place, but it is cool, and maybe we'll make a build around this at some point. But I'm going to go ahead and head towards Divinity's Reach, and then we will go ahead and take the portal to the Fields of Ruins. And here we are in the Fields of Ruin, and I basically kind of map completed 50% of the map previously, so I'm going to go ahead and try to do like the other 50%. Of course, we're going to have a little bit of overlap here and there, and I'm going to do my best to make sure that we don't miss anything while we are out and about here in these lands. And then once I've completed what I think is everything in the map, I will go ahead and head towards the next map. But let's go ahead and come over here towards the quarry where we ended off a couple episodes ago, and we can push out of the quarry here and deeper into ogre territory. So ogres are a race of creatures in Tyria that we have not spent too much time exploring just yet, and we will have the opportunity to learn a lot more about them when we work with them in the future, in a future story chapter. But we're going to learn a little bit about them right now, where we can kind of see that there is a massive meta event going on right now that I think I'm going to skip past everything right here and rush this direction and see if we can help out with this meta event, because basically this is like the biggest ogre storyline that we kind of see in the game, and of course we will see ogres here and there throughout the rest of the game as well, because they're just like groups of people or clans or tribes, I'm not exactly sure, of people that basically reside in many different places around the world, and they're kind of like a neutral faction, kind of, where some of them are peaceful and some of them are hostile, and the ones we are fighting here are definitely very hostile. And it looks like the events actually... Oh. Okay, so it looks like a new event's beginning. I was just here in the middle of two events. Let's go ahead and clear out these ogres here, and I can remember what thief build we were running here. So we can go ahead and use our Blade Storm or Dagger Storm, and we can, wow, that is definitely powerful. I forgot about how good our thief was here. But we can go ahead and clear out all the ogres around here and kind of just help out with the event here. And then I think we can go back this way and kind of explore some stuff. But I'm going to be going all around the map in different areas and kind of just exploring everything until we get to the other side of the map. So it looks like this event is not starting, so I'm going to go ahead and clean up this group and then kill a couple more ogres, and then we can go ahead and continue on with our adventures here. But the ogres are definitely really interesting because there's kind of like a deep like war going on right here between like the humans and the chars versus the ogres, and you kind of see some conflicts in this land where these two like groups of people are fighting each other. I'm kind of getting the inspiration to make a story video about the ogres because really I actually don't know too much about them, and they're kind of like a group of people that are pretty similar to the centaurs, I believe, in the sense that both the ogres and the centaurs basically kind of just resided in like specific areas of the world, respective to where like each group of people resided, and then another external force. So like in the case of centaurs it was the humans, and then in the case of the ogres it's both the humans and the chars. They basically kind of came into their land and basically kind of just started taking it over a little bit. At least that is my understanding. Let's go ahead and come out this way and do a little trick with our raptor right there and come over towards this vista so we can get a nice view of the land right here.
We'll hold the ogres here. Second squads move up and take.
So looks like that event dialogue happened again, but I'm just gonna go ahead and drop down this way. And we have one point of interest over here that we did not explore on our other character and a waypoint. It looks like, let's go ahead and grab this waypoint, and then we can walk into a little bit of a char camp here. And this is very close towards Ebonhawk, and I believe this was the site of a battle between the humans and the chars when they were fighting each other. And we can kind of see, I think, a little bit that there is some like human structures right here. I believe that's what we're like standing on, and we can see some of these pillars. And then there are also some char structures right here, and then there are also some ogre structures, and they're basically like all destroyed, and all that's left standing is like this one char bunker. Right? But let's go ahead and, oh, we have another point of interest over here we have not gotten yet. So let's go ahead and run around this way. Here are the siege plains. And we can come up to here, which looks like it is a more fortified and well put together char camp right here. And we can get to this waypoint, and then let's go ahead and run all the way back here and get this point of interest. And I think this is the last thing we kind of have right here. And I'll go ahead and waypoint over here, and then we can talk to the scout here.
While the Char have pulled back from Ebonhawk's walls, the ogres have used the quiet to set up camp in vacated areas. We're trying to advance through Sapper's Delve in order to halt the ogres at Foulbear Crawl. It's been a bloody slog, and we'd be grateful for any help you could give us in pushing back the ogres.
So let's go ahead and push back against the ogres a little bit more. We completed this one task over here, so let's go ahead and come down to this task down here. And it's pretty much the same exact thing, where a bunch of the events in this area is just us fighting, or a bunch of the tasks and events in this area is basically just us fighting a bunch of the ogres around here. So we'll go ahead and make sure we grab this point of interest, and then I think it looks like we kind of see with like the battle between the humans and the chars versus the ogres, it's another one of those things where there's like a bunch of different outposts, and they can be controlled by one faction or the other depending on like the status of events. So basically players have been able to help out against the ogres here and have taken this area back for the Vanguard and for the Iron Legion, and it's not in control of the ogres. But the unfortunate side effect of that, because normally that would be a good thing, but unfortunately for us who are just doing map completion, it makes completing the task a little bit more difficult because we no longer have the opportunity to fight a bunch of the ogres, because there are no ogres because they've been pushed out. So we are going to have to rely on some of the other opportunities to complete the task around here. So that took a little bit of time to complete, and it was a little bit boring, I'm going to be honest, but we completed that task, and now we can go ahead and start doing some more exciting stuff, because we can go ahead and do some hero points. And I think there's a vista over in this direction as well, and there is a little bit of a spoiler right there, but we are going to ignore that. We're just going to focus on this ogre and his 4 bugs right here, and this looks like a pretty easy fight, and we'll be able to just heal up a little bit. And then let's go ahead and AoE them down as best as we can, and we're probably going to go down here, but we should be fine. And then you just need to finish these 2 bugs in order to finish the hero challenge here, and we successfully completed that. And let's go ahead and head this direction a little bit, because this is known as the Ogre Road right here, and there's basically just ogre camps everywhere. And there is one ogre camp down here. Actually, I'm going to grab this waypoint really quickly, just a little bit of a distraction here. Can grab that, and then let's go ahead and run back this way. And I believe there is only one point of interest. There's actually a second point of interest. I remember that one now. Let's go ahead and just run through here. There's a little bit of like a grape vineyard right there. We're just going to ignore that for now. And then we can go ahead and just bob and weave through all the ogres around here. And there's actually someone fighting the champion ogre up here, so maybe we'll give a helping hand since we're in the area. Go ahead and just come around this maze-like area right here. And I think this is an important event or something, but let's go ahead and grab this point of interest. And then let's go ahead and help out with this, where we have to fight the boars, I think, right now. And then we can go ahead and fight the ogre boss right here. So let's go ahead and use our elite skill here to help chuck this ogre down a bunch, and then just continue fighting against it. Looks like every 25% of the ogre just starts spawning a bunch of like a different type of animal. So it was boars at 75%, then was 2 minotaurs at 50% there. So we'll go ahead and see what happens at 25%. So it looks like it's black moas now, which are like a very rare breed of moas. And then we can go ahead and finish fighting the chieftain of this little crawl area right here. We can continue moving forward, and I leveled up to level 36, and I also completed a festival for the festival that's currently going on, which I'm not going to be exploring too much of right now, but that is cool. And let's go ahead and run north out of this area. You can grab this point of interest on the way out. So we have a dead Sylvari on the ground there for that event, and if we come around here we can see there's a little bit of a Sylvari camp in these Ogre Hills, which is very interesting. And I believe they're basically just trying to like take care of the wildlife in this area that have been damaged by the conflicts between the humans and the Chars and the Ogres. Multiple different conflicts there with a different combination of all those three factions of people. But as we head north out of this area, we can see that there is a giant Char like city in Fields of Ruins here, and this is basically the Char equivalent to Ebonhawk. And we can see like on the like central eastern side here we have this city right here, Deathblade's Watch, and then we have Ebonhawk over there, and it's kind of like the parallel between Ebonhawk with the humans, and then we have the Char here. And I guess like a more accurate representation of that is kind of like the Black Citadel, but this is like more on like the front lines and the war between the humans and the Char. And of course it is now a little bit of a peaceful location for us because of the treaty that is being signed and the ceasefire that is currently enacted. But let's go ahead and run up here and we can see the area around here. I don't think there is any other map completion stuff in this area, and that always kind of surprised me. I always thought that it would be like good to have like a point of interest and like a task right here, but for some reason they did not have that. But what they do have in this area, which is interesting, is that there is this hearth right here, which is actually a cooking station, which would be nice if you were a chef. And there aren't too many places like this around the world where there are like just generally crafting stations, but like specifically only a single crafting station. So it's kind of a unique occurrence that this happens right here. But let's go ahead and head out of this way. And I believe we have now explored everything in the southeastern corner of the Fields of Ruins, and we've explored everything on the southwestern side. So I believe we are now 100% complete. Where am I running? But I believe we are now 100% complete with like the southern half of the Fields of Ruins, and we've already done a little bit of the northern half. So let's go ahead and just do a little bit of running around here. And there's probably a couple of tasks on point of interest in this area that we'll just grab until we get to stuff that is purely new. Here we have a guild rush, which is a special like activity that guilds can participate in, and I don't think there are any points of interest in here, but we will see. And it indeed does not look like there's anything, but I believe there is a waypoint right to the west of us. And then we also have the Char delegation camp, which we saw last episode. Yeah, we were looking at achievements last episode and we got the vista over in this direction. But we do have this waypoint right here, so let's grab this and then let's loop around here. So we have a little bit of a cool area right here where we kind of see what the Char are basically doing to the environment in Ascalon. And it's a little bit of a subplot that we might see more of in the future, where the Char are just polluting everything and that makes certain people upset. But we have the Char delegation camp over here, and it's basically very similar to like the human delegation camp that is on the other side of the treaty or negotiations pavilion that is right there, if that's what you want to call it. But let's go ahead and grab this point of interest and then let's complete this task here. So we have some separatists and some landmines around here, and then I think there might be a little bit of an invasion that happens every now and then. So let's go ahead and just protect the Char delegation, because it is our best interest that the humans and the Chars are at peace, because we see rising conflicts against the Elder Dragons occurring. And we have seen the Elder Dragon Zhaitan basically have like more and more minions appearing in every nation across the world, and that is definitely problematic for us people of Tyria. So let's go ahead and help bring peace to the conflict here. Peace through war, I guess, because that is what the Separatists and the Renegades are forcing us to do. A few Separatists later, we have finished this task, And this is basically the general area where we finished off our adventures on our human guardian. So let's go ahead, and I see 2 different scouts in this area, and let's chat with the scouts and see what they have to say. And then let's go ahead and head north. We are basically at the end of the zone here. We just have a little bit of stuff left right here, and then a little bit more around this purple area here, which we will have the opportunity to explore in just a moment. But first things first is let's grab this point of interest, because why not? And then let's talk to the scout right here.
We used to control the land this far north, but with the peace talks, we pulled back and allowed the humans to settle here. Roscoe's campsite, one of the new settlements, needs assistance if it's going to survive. Should it fail, it'll mean trouble for the treaty. If that wasn't enough, a number of Char have defected and created a warband devoted to stopping the peace process at all costs. I'll tell you this treaty better be worth the hassle.
We have some tasks right there that we could complete, but let's go ahead and talk to the scout over here, because these tasks are actually a little higher level than what we currently are. They're level 37 and 38, so it might be good if you complete some lower level tasks. And Fields of Ruins is level 30 to 40, and I think the areas over here are a little bit lower, but we will see in just a second.
The dragon brand is a constant reminder of the destruction that the Elder Dragons can do. At Sentinel's Perch, we're struggling to keep the brand from spilling out into Tyria. With any luck, those scientists at Varmhold Outpost will find a way to permanently lock this place down.
So I was wrong. Those are actually a little bit higher level than these ones over here. So let's go ahead and start off by completing all of these tasks this way. And let's go ahead and run along the road here, and we can grab this waypoint, which is actually at the entrance to the next map that I want to complete. So we have unlocked this waypoint, and we see the map portal right there, but let's go ahead and run this direction. And there are some separatists on the eastern side of this camp and some renegades on the western side. So let's go ahead and deal with all the separatists first. And it looks like there are some brown cows in this area, and there's actually harpies in this area. So let's go ahead and defend the village here from the harpies. And there's actually more spoiler stuff going on, which I don't think is too big of a spoiler, but it is still nevertheless a little bit of a spoiler for like 3 years later into the game, or 4 or 5, something like that. There's been so much content over the years, and they keep adding stuff to like Central Tyria, which I am really happy that they do that, don't get me wrong, but it does make it a little bit weird when I'm kind of trying to go in like a chronological order of the game, where I'm really purposely ignoring some of the stuff that is going on until later, where we would get to that point in the story if we had been playing from like day 1 of Guild Wars 2, because that's kind of how I've been presenting this entire Let's Play story. Even though I do talk a little bit about stuff that is coming in the future with like new expansions, and I do spoil a couple of things every now and then. But there's a hero challenge up here that we can grab, which I actually think is a little bit difficult if my memory serves correct. So let's go ahead and clear out this area first. So let's go ahead and fight this clutch. And we have a veteran who is level 40 right here, so this is definitely going to be a little challenging. Go ahead and get our elite skill off right here, and they are 4 levels higher than me, so this is actually kind of like the first time in this entire Let's Play series in 43 episodes where I feel like we're going to have a little bit of a challenge in the combat here. So let's go ahead and try to DPS this flock down so we can resurrect. And then I might go ahead and go into stealth here for just a second and try to hide in this area. And then I'm going to dodge this way, and I'm going to dodge again, and then I'm going to heal and try to get my health back up. And then let's go ahead and get a backstab in and try to get another stealth going there with another backstab. And then we can use our Heartseeker, except she flew up into the air. So let's be ready to dodge when she comes down, because she's probably going to do like a barrage attack, because harpies like to do that. And she might also appear somewhere else in the world. Okay, so she's at 7% health, and we are in downstate now, and all 3 of her clutch are dead, but I think we'll be able to DPS her down in downstate, and we were able to beat that hero challenge. That was probably the hardest thing that I've done so far in this Let's Play series, but it was still decently easy. And the biggest part about that being hard was because we are 4 levels under 4 different enemies that we were fighting right there. that kind of brings up something that's a little bit fun about like Guild Wars 2, and this is just something that's fun about like video games as a whole, which is like challenge ideas. And anyone who's been playing World of Warcraft recently knows a lot about like hardcore World of Warcraft that a lot of people are doing, which for people who don't know, basically hardcore World of Warcraft is where if you ever die, you basically just delete your character. So even if you're like max level, even if you're raiding, if you do any dungeon, if you're out questing on the road, if you die once, you delete your character, that is it. And there is official support coming for hardcore, where normally it's just like through the honor system and through an add-on that basically checks that you're following the rules, which can kind of be broken a little bit. But what we see with the hardcore challenge right now in World of Warcraft is that it's actually kind of like a light version of an Iron Man challenge, which is hardcore, where if you die, you delete your character, but there's also more rules on top of it. And typically in Iron Man challenges, we see people use less like bad gear, and we see people are by themselves on the road, where with the add-on we don't have an authentic hardcore experience and we don't have an authentic Iron Man experience with it. It's kind of like in the middle. But that is also something that's really interesting if you were to look at it in Guild Wars 2, where there's no like big community for people that do like challenge runs of Guild Wars 2, but it's still something that we see happens in the game where people are interested in that. And I've actually like practiced a little bit with doing an Iron Man run. I've never done a full one because it never grasped my attention too much, but it might be something that I do in the future. And other challenge runs might be something that I do in the future as well, because we see a variety of those, where we see people do hardcore runs of Guild Wars 2, where if they ever die on their character, they just delete their character and start again at level 1. And basically the goal is to just have fun and really challenge yourself and see how far you can get into the game with having this like extra little bit of a challenge. And it really makes you think about the game in a different way. And then we see people do Iron Man runs, and then we've seen people recently, I think I've talked about this actually, recently somebody got 100% map completion in the world without reaching level 80. And that might not sound like a challenge, but it's really kind of a challenge, because basically what they did in order to do that is not kill a single mob in the game, which is also a bit of a challenge because they had to complete all the hero points and all of the tasks in the game without killing any mobs, which sounds impossible, but it is possible. And if I find the Reddit thread about that, I'll go ahead and link that in the description. And that could be something fun that I do in the future, because that is definitely a challenge. But I've also seen there was somebody that reached level 80 in like the starting tutorial instance by just killing, like, I think it was in the Savari one, so they just killed like all the nightmare creatures over and over. And that's not like particularly like challenging to do, it's more of just like time consuming. And I've technically done that, but I did it by just leveling up to level 80 through Tomes of Knowledge, so it was like a little bit of cheating. But it was kind of fun to just be a level 80 and sit in the tutorial instance as a level 80, because I think it showed your level there and you're just a level 80 surrounded by level 1s, and it's kind of an interesting thing. And then I also remember someone reached level 80 in like a pacifist way without completing much stuff around the map by just harvesting different resources of like lumber and ore and herbs. And that is like, of course, a challenge to basically just not kill a single mob but still reach level 80, and not through map completion, just through gathering a bunch of resources around the world. And I'm sure they made a decent amount of gold from doing that as well. But we have this renegade camp right here, and this is actually the renegade camp that you would attack in the story if you had chosen to launch an offensive against the renegades instead of just defending Summit Peak like we decided to do when we did that story mission. And we just leveled up to level 37 by completing that task. Let's get our level up reward here, which is a more powerful coat that we can equip. Let's go ahead and equip that. Then we can get our task reward here. And then let's go ahead and head off west out of this area, and we can begin exploring a very special part of the world. So we have talked about this a few times, and we have seen some discussion about this a few times so far in this Let's Play series, but I believe this is the first official time we will be seeing this location in Guild Wars 2, and that is the Dragon Brand, and it is this monstrosity of a location. But a reminder for anybody who does not remember, basically there are the 5 different Elder Dragons that have arose around the world, where there is Zhaitan, Jormag, Primordus, Krakatoric, and then a mysterious deep sea dragon. And we see with the rising of Krakatorrik, who rose and the Blood Legion homelands all the way, it was like up here, as Krakatorrik flew south to fight Glint and Destiny's Edge. He basically branded this entire area all the way down to the Crystal Desert until he reached Glint's lair right here in this crater, and basically everything in this area was destroyed and all life was basically corrupted into these branded creatures, and then all of like the environment was completely destroyed and the water is like nauseous and a horrible place to be. And now we have the pristine opportunity to clear up this area and basically fight back against the minions of Krakatorrik. So let's go ahead and just run around this area and just fight a bunch of the branded, and then we have a few different map completion objectives that we can get in this area. I guess we will just run out of this place really quickly so we can grab this waypoint right here, which I don't believe we have gotten yet. And then I might actually loop around a little bit and come back in just a moment so we can come all the way down here. And I want to get this point of interest because I believe this will basically make this part of the Fields of Ruins be the last locations that we have not explored yet. So this will just make a nice little marker and barrier for me. So let's grab this point of interest right here, which is at a char camp that was destroyed by the brand here. Looks like there are a ton of different branded creatures around here. There's a giant branded devourer that's on the other side of this camp here, and it is the wreckage of Doomspy's watch. But let's go ahead and continue running west here, and we will go ahead and there's actually a sentinel perimeter guard because we are on the perimeter of the Dragon brand, and the Sentinels are a very interesting char organization that are basically like a collection of members from each legion, I think, that are working together in order to fight against the branded and basically keep an eye on the brand. But let's go ahead and run up north of Dragonrot Domains here, and there is a waypoint that we can get here, and then I think we will just have this waypoint collected, and I'll go ahead and head back to where we were so we can go ahead and start approaching the brand from that angle. But we definitely see that this is a very like disgusting and grotesque area, and very sad to what happened here with the life, but also very, very cool if you look at it from like a more meta point of view. Let's grab this waypoint right here, and then that is everything right here. So basically all we have left to complete in the Fields of Ruins between our two characters, this box right here. Let's go ahead and waypoint back up here and complete this area. So we have this char camp right here that was basically kind of saved from the brand. It was far enough away from the brand to be spared, unlike the other char camp that we saw further south from here. But let's go ahead and look at this vista. So that is what this location looks like, and then we can drop back down here and fight a few more of the branded creatures as we head further into this place. Looks like there is an event going on down here that I don't really want to participate in, but let's go ahead and drop down into here because I don't want to be in this water. And it looks like all of these char are actually dead right here. And it's actually a group event, so I might leave them dead, and we can go ahead and just defeat the branded attacking us in this area. And that is the 10th branded that we have destroyed, the 10th of many branded that we will be fighting throughout the course of Guild Wars 2. And this is also another relatively challenging area just because we are much lower level than all the different creatures around here. This Devourer, for example, is level 39, which is 2 levels higher than we currently are. And normally you wouldn't think that any monsters or just like 1 or 2 levels higher than you is much more difficult. But I feel like in MMOs, the scaling is definitely a little bit rough, especially us who haven't really focused on gearing our character up as we level, because that's not really something that I do in Guild Wars 2. I don't really gear as I level. I kind of just throw on what's given to us just naturally, and I don't really go for like specific items until I reach level 80, and I try to get like the best gear or the second best gear in the game, depending on how much gold and time I want to devote to a character. But of course we have branded humans and branded char around here, because as the brand basically kind of corrupted all of the life around here, it basically took the forms of like normal life that we see, so like humans and chars, and then like ogres and minotaurs as well, and basically just corrupted them into like a crystalline, distorted form of their original selves, which we now are fighting in this area. We completed that task. Let's go ahead and grab this waypoint, and then we have one final task in the zone that we not explored yet, and then a couple of additional things in this area, and a couple of them are actually really cool. So let's go ahead and grab this point of interest right here, which is not the super cool inn that is in the northwesternmost corner of the map right here, up over in this direction. So let's go ahead and run this way, and we can kind of explore what is a memorial to a character from one of the Guild Wars books who died in the book, I believe. And we have a traveling priestess right here, and then she says, have you come to pay your respects? We can ask to whom. And then she says, if you don't know, then I suppose that's not why you're here. You're standing at the grave of the adventurer Killeen, without whom this truce between human and char would not be in place. She was part of a mission to retrieve a char artifact, the Dagger of Conir. The humans offered it to the char as a sign of peace. She didn't survive the task, and I will repay my respects. And this is a really cool spot because not only is it a reference to one of the Guild Wars books, but I believe another character from the Guild Wars books actually shows up in this area and pays his respects as well. So let's go ahead, just examine the stones, and we can pay our respects here by becoming more powerful from the grave of this fallen adventurer. And then we can go ahead and get this task reward that I didn't pick up. And then let's go ahead and work our way south because we don't see anything in this area right here. But for people who know, and for people who are just about to learn, there's actually a jumping puzzle down here. So let's go ahead and fight our way through against all these branded creatures that are 3 levels higher than us. So that's a little challenging. And then we are almost complete with this task, and I believe this is the last map completion objective that we have to get in Fields of Ruins. So between our 2 characters, our Human Guardian and our Char Thief, we now have 100% map completion in the Fields of Ruin. But let's go ahead and run down this way, and this is a pretty short jumping puzzle that we can complete, and the entrance to it is right here. So let's go ahead and run through this way, and there's actually a guild challenge here, and it's actually a pretty fun guild challenge, although it is super easy nowadays. So let's go ahead and come off to the right here, and then we can go ahead and climb up this way, and we can just work our way across all of these metal beams here. It's definitely like a little bit of a char quarry that was going on here, but then it got like branded over by the brand. But there's also like some char pollution and stuff where we see some tar puddles and some tar elementals. And then the caverns itself are a little bit unstable, and I just fell and died, so that's definitely awkward. But as I was saying, for people who do not have screen shake turned off, the caverns being pretty unstable, we will see the screen shake periodically, and this is a fair warning to people who are sensitive to that until we complete this jumping puzzle, that's going to happen every now and then. But there are also like boulders that fall from the roof, and I think they can actually hurt you and like knock you off. I'm not entirely sure. But let's go ahead and just continue running up this way, and we only have a few more jumps left, but these jumps are probably the hardest in the puzzle. And we can go ahead and come over to the edge here, and we have made it to the end, and we have completed the branded mine, and we have this grand chest here that we can get. And then you can, oh, I have a full inventory here, so let's go ahead and clear this up a little. But then with this jumping puzzle complete and us having gotten every map completion objective, I want to go ahead and start exploring the start of the next zone for a few minutes. But first I want to return to the Black Citadel so we can kind of progress our character adventure guide achievements a little bit, just so we can get some extra levels, because I'm still level 37 and I'm wanting to hit level 40 this episode for next episode. So the big thing that I want to do is actually at the leather worker right here, we can go ahead and talk to the leather worker, and we can learn how to become one, and then that leveled us instantly up to level 38. So let's grab this reward, and then all we have to do is craft 1 item and earn 10 crafting levels. So let's come into the leatherworking station here, and then we can go ahead and make a few stretched rawhide leather squares, and then we will probably have to make 1 or 2 other items just to level up a little bit. So let's go ahead and make 2 mighty jute insignias, I guess, and then we can make a pair of leggings by getting all these components, and then a pair of boots, I guess. and then we can combine this all together. And I think we actually only had to do one or the other, but we can just make both, and we can craft this all. And we are now level 39, which is nice. So let's go ahead and combine this last one right here, and then we can go ahead and grab all of our level up rewards here. And then I want, which rune do I want? I think I want the precision rune there from the rune of Lissa. So let's go ahead and find this, and then we can equip that. And then we have completed all of these things, and we are level 43. So I just went from level 37 to level 43 in about 5 seconds. So I guess I don't have to go to that new area, but let's go ahead and just grab all of our level up rewards here, and we can filter through all of them. And I probably should have picked a better one right there. We have an aqua breather here. I guess I'll go ahead and pick this one. I think this is the last one we need, and we can just only select one of these, which is a little sad. Let's go ahead and equip all of this. But I will go ahead and waypoint back towards the Fields of Ruin here, and we can go ahead and begin exploring the next map for just a few minutes at the end of the episode here. So as we are waypointed here, we can go ahead and run north here and run through this map portal entrance into a brand new map that we have not explored yet, which is a really cool map known as Blaze Ridge Steppes. And we have explored a little bit of the brand in the Fields of Ruin, but we are about to explore it a lot more. So as we load in here, let's go ahead and grab this waypoint right here, and then let's talk to the scout and see what's going on in this area. I guess we already have the waypoint, because whenever you enter a zone, you unlock the closest waypoint automatically. But let's see what Specialist Morgan has to say.
Legions have a treaty with humans, but pockets of human separatists between here and Ebonhawk use outlaw methods to put stress on the tenuous peace. Between them and the ogres, we have no spare time. We could use some help.
So we can see that there is some more conflict between the Separatists and the Legions and the Ebon Vanguard here. So let's go ahead and just run around these few bases here, and we can basically just help out these factions in the same way that we were helping them out in the Fields of Ruin. And then we also have some more stuff going on with the ogres as well, so we can go ahead and deal with this faction of people. And as we fight the ogres throughout the rest of Ascalon here, the bulk majority of the ogres that we will be fighting throughout Ascalon is in the Fields of Ruin. And like the biggest battle that goes on was kind of the battle that we saw at the very start of the episode, which I didn't participate too much in, but that's like the biggest thing that's going on. But of course we will see many more ogre encampments all around here. Some are peaceful, some are hostile, and some we will get to know very well. A fun part of this task here is we can see that there are some like humans and chars kind of fighting each other, and we can talk to them to basically force them to stand down a little bit and help them find some reason. So with this task completed and we leveled up to level 44, let's go ahead and run over here and grab this waypoint really quickly. And then we have 2 more tasks left in this area right here. And as we finish up the last couple of things around here, I kind of wanted to have a little bit of like a meta talk about my channel. And I don't really do this too often. I used to do this a little bit more in like my World of Warcraft series until I was kind of told to stop doing it. But I just want to take a little couple minutes here to just talk about kind of how I'm super happy with what I've been doing with YouTube stuff. And I kind of recognize that I'm really all over the place, and people that kind of watch like certain videos on my channel are probably only there for like specific videos. Where like a lot of people only watch me for like my overview guides, and some people only watch me for like my story videos, and some people only watch me for like my Let's Play series, and then so on and so forth. And with my Let's Play series, I have my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play series, and then I have my World of Warcraft stuff as well. And then I also have a Minecraft series that I recently started. And I've been kind of trying to figure out how I want to approach YouTube and stuff, and I'm honestly still kind of figuring that out. But I think like the biggest general idea is that I'm really kind of just doing what I want when I want, and I really have the pressure to keep like schedules, and I'm mostly going to try to keep a schedule like as best as I can in general. But I've been uploading well, at the time of recording this video, but this video will be coming out a little bit after this fact. But at the time of recording this video, I've basically kept uploading one video a day between like shorts and long form content every single day for the last like 3 months. And that's really fun, but I feel like I'm probably spending a little bit too much time doing that. And then also, I'm sure people feel like I'm spending too much time doing one thing or the other, but largely overall, I think I'm kind of just gonna do whatever I want. And I recently reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that made me super happy and super grateful for everyone who has sat around and watched me and subscribed. And I am very thankful for each and every one of you. But I have like the thing in like the back of my head that tells me to grow and to kind of like do things that like make me want to grow. And like part of me really wants to become like big on YouTube because like that would be cool. But I think another part of me wants to kind of just keep doing basically what I've been doing, which is stuff that's not going to gather in a bunch of views, but it's kind of just stuff that helps me relax and kind of makes this a little bit more of a hobby than something more than that. And then with it being a hobby, it's kind of something that I'm just going to pick up and drop down every now and then. And of course, it's going to be something that I will be working on forever until I lose interest at least. But I genuinely feel like I'm never going to lose interest. And then if I ever reach a point where I start becoming more and more popular, I might like start reconsidering that idea where I'm basically kind of just wanting to take advantage of an opportunity that is being given to me, but honestly I never really see that happening. If that happens, that would be cool, but in the meantime I'm just going to kind of approach this in a very casual and therapeutic way, I guess. But we don't have too much left in order to complete this task. Actually, that was the last thing we had to do, so we can go ahead and grab this reward, and then I will escape the separatist camp that we're fighting at here and loop around here and go ahead and grab this waypoint. And as I grab this waypoint, I'm gonna go ahead and call this episode good here. And same old, I really hope you enjoyed watching this episode of my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play series, and I really enjoyed playing through it. And I also hope y'all are taking good care of yourselves. Please always remember to drink some water, check your posture, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time in the world. It's very close. Let's just back up here. In the world of Tyria. Goodbye.